kick, yeah.
So tell us about the teen mentorship program you have coming up.
Well, this is our first teen mentorship camp to launch this weekend. It's something that Paige and I've always wanted to do since attending the Tony Robbins workshop a couple of years ago, and it is focused on helping teens navigate through today, dealing with bullying, talking about self-esteem, and our tagline is "No perfect people allowed." And our tagline is "No perfect people allowed." So we are really excited to be able to get in touch with the teens, talk to them, what are they dealing with these days, and sort of having them navigate through society and helping them. So it's sort of like a Tony Robbins like fun weekend, but on steroids for teenagers.
It's like pumped up all over the place. So like, what can you expect coming to the program? Like, what can they expect to get out of it?
Well, I'm going to let Cameron answer some of that. Cameron is helping Paige and the company sort of recreate some agenda. They're going to learn things such as yoga, healthy habits, how to really navigate social media these days, and how that's going to affect their future.
Before we go into get, Cameron Hines is another mentor over at Page Parks with the Teen Mentorship Camp that they have going on this Saturday between 9:30 to 4:30. So go ahead, Cameron. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's, when Paige and I first started talking about the camp, we realized that there are some real challenges being teenagers these days, and there's a lot of judgment out there. Tabitha was mentioning bullying, and we're talking earlier in your show about social media. It's nonstop today, and the judgment doesn't end after school. In my day, when school was over, you went home and you got away from it. And now it's 24/7, and you're not just judged in person. You're judged on your social media. How many likes you have? Did somebody like this post? Like, there's a lot of pressure on our teens. So when Paige and I were talking, we just want to give some skills and tools to these teens to be able to take their life to the next level, right? Like, not that there's anything wrong with any of these teens that we're mentoring or that are coming to our camp, but all of us, even as an adult, if we're not growing, we're dying. So we really want to get to that next level in the teenage stage. If we can make a difference in a teen's life, imagine what they're going to be like when they're 40, Tabitha went to this program a couple of years ago. I started my Tony Robbins journey in 2010 and did some personal growth programs before that. But why wait till you're 40 to go, oh man, I'm 40. I need to figure some stuff out in my life. So.
And how did you get into that? What made you get into that program out of all the programs? Like, how did you want to actually get involved and to help teens overcome their certain fears and their bullying that they've been dealing with?
I think it just resonates, and maybe it resonates with you as well, that I had great parents, and I grew up in Canada, and I had what you would consider a good life as a teenager, but I wasn't fulfilled, and I spent years looking for that fulfillment in life. And I first went before Tony Robbins, to another organization that did teen mentorship programs, and to see once teenagers get those walls down and they realize that they're in a safe place to grow and learn, what they can accomplish is unbelievable. So the first time I saw a teen program back in 2007, I'm like, wow, as adults we think we're pretty cool, and we are, and we're capable of a lot of neat stuff, right? Yeah. But if you can empower a teenager at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, they got their whole life ahead of them. So I really just became passionate. I've got 3 kids of my own, and I was recently remarried as well, so 2 more in that, so I'm a father of 5 now, and I just really want to tell kids that, hey man, there's nothing wrong with you, and you're capable of anything. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and I think teenagers today, it's really good for them to have a mentor. Like, Paige was my mentor. I started going to Page Parks when I was 12 years old, and then I traveled all over the world as a model for her. And then I decided I don't want to live out of a suitcase anymore. So I came to her and I said, hey, I'd like to work for you. So I've had her in my life, just always being there for me and seeing how she takes care of other people and opening the doors for a lot of teens such as Maddie. And I think it's important for, if they don't have that at home, or maybe if they don't have it in a close friend, that they can find it in other avenues such as what we're doing at the company.
And you say you started at 12, so you've been there for a long time from an early
Long
age.
time.
So like, how has that transition been since you started until now?
Well, when I started, I'm from a very small town called Sweeney, Texas. So it's a town of 3,000 people. So modeling wasn't really a thing there. And I was the tallest one in my grade forever. So when I came to Page Parks, I felt like I was at home because everybody was tall and really lanky and thin. And then I made some of my best friends in the whole world through the company. I married my husband, who's a photographer that I met through the business because of Page. And then I transitioned to sort of helping do life changes for teen girls and boys that are maybe having goals of, hey, I'd like to see the world, and I'm going to pay for it by becoming an actor or a model or a talent. And then those people transitioning to becoming famous photographers or stylists or makeup artists. So that's sort of been my journey, and now I'm overseeing the company in that way, and I'm really excited about this program because, you know, you have to be of a certain height to be a model, or you have to be talented to be an actor, but this new program opens up for anybody to walk in the door. Like, that's why our tagline is no perfect people allowed, because nobody's perfect, we know that, but this is an avenue for people to maybe find what their calling is in their life or their passion, or to, you know, find a mentor, whether it's at our company or maybe with one of their friends that are there. So we're really excited about it.
I definitely feel like it's a camp and a mentorship program that people should get involved with, just for the fact of you being there since you were 12, also shows and trust that you have installed in Page Parks and the things that they have going on. And my daughter, she works with Page Parks a lot, you know, does a lot of great things. So a lot of good things come out of Page Parks. How can people really like get their foot in the door? What little information can you give them, or what little tips could you give people how to help them come along their acting and their modeling journeys? Basically,
all you have to do is go to our website, pageparks.com, and enter your information, your email address. If you're under 18, your parents can do it, and then you'll get a call from one of our talent advisors, and they set up a meeting. And sometimes when you walk in the door, it's maybe something you didn't want to hear, like you have your heart set on being a model, but you're 5'4", but maybe your journey is going to take you a different way. And we have met people. We had this wonderful girl walk into our office, and we ask you questions, and it turns out she writes her own country music, and she is a singer. And, you know, Paige said, hey, I don't really think you're going to be a model, but I'd love to help you in your music. And now she's signed with a deal, and she's living in Nashville.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, so you just never know what's going to happen when you walk in. I think it's a really, it's a neat journey, because we're a group of people there that like to help people, even if you don't fall in one of the categories that our business is surrounded by.
What competitive advantage do you believe has contributed to the long-standing success of the agency?
Well, Paige does everything with her heart, so I think that that gives an edge over everything. And the people that we employ there love what they do, and they love people, because if you don't want to help people, there's really not a place for you there. And that's what she does. I mean, she gives herself a number to every single person that I know. So,
and not a lot of people do, like, to give you a number out, you know, to every client, like.
Yeah, so she's, I think
my
that's,
email.
so I think that's the difference. And I think that when people come in, she cares about them. And I think that in this day, that is something that is very different to have, because everything is so automated. We were talking about social media earlier, or, you know, the kids not looking up from their phone, but she's caring and she's in your face.
I definitely believe that is on some next level stuff, because you barely can get in contact with the pizza delivery.
Exactly. It's like, go on the app, order the pizza, you get the wrong pizza.
And for her to give her number out and just be willing to accept anything that comes her way is a big step and leap of faith. You know what I mean? Shout out to Page Parks. That's big.
Something as simple as being genuine these days is so rare.
Yes.
Just being a genuine individual.
You don't find genuine people that much too much.
No.
Are there any benefits for aspiring talent to work in the Texas market that you believe?
Oh, huge benefits. I mean, our market is amazing. We have a 9-year-old kid that's probably paid for his college just on the acting bookings alone that our agency has gotten him.
Wow, yeah, that is.
So Texas is, I know a lot of people around the world go, oh, Texas, but there's a lot of work here. I mean, Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, a lot of production companies are coming and they're doing all of their things here.
But I hear a lot of people say it's no work here. Like, for us being in the industry with I guess major film set wise, there wouldn't be any work here because of, I guess, the landscape and how the rules go with everything there. But
well, now, so social media is also something that's helped our business because my agents can literally book something from their computer for people by sending a video, just like we went live earlier, and we send that straight to the casting director that might be sitting in LA or someone's in LA and in New York. They see that, goes live, the person they'll have a question for, and then they'll email Addie back and go, great, put them on a plane, they're on their first call back. And then from there, they get booked.
that's big.
So
Yeah,
you
I was gonna say, that's a foundation. Like, that's big.
So you don't necessarily have to live in a different market when you're getting started. Eventually, you'll have to move there just because it's easier for everybody and it's equal. It's more opportunities because you can get in the car and be there in 30 minutes instead of doing a video. But when you're starting out the first couple years, there's huge opportunities here.
Okay, another tough question, I guess, for the people that want to know. For people that's wanting to get into the modeling and is there a certain look that you precisely have to have in order to get your foot into the door? Because everybody, anybody can do it. We all know anybody can't do it. I mean, we all.
Let's be realistic now.
Well, I think the look in the industry changes all of the time. I mean, every couple months they're looking for people that look different. The standard really is you have to be 5'9" and you have to be thin if you're a woman, and for a man you have to be at least 6 foot. And then there are differences in the type of models that we represent. You
Short
can have
lives matter too.
an editorial model, attitude.
Short lives matter too.
Well, I've never understood why do they want a model to be. Well, I don't want to say so tall because realistically 5'9" is not really extremely tall for a woman, but if you're 5'4",
Man, that is tall for a woman. Do you know how many short guys it is out here? Speaking for myself.
I'm sorry, I don't fall in that
Hey,
category.
she get in the heels, you be like, I'm sorry. Why do I have to be down here?
All the designs are cut sample size, and that's what it is. So it's 5'9", 0 to 2.
Okay.
So when they're cutting the clothes and the sample houses, they're not going to make a wide range. So that's just our industry standard. Now, flip side on the actors and actresses, that's what's gracing the magazine covers these days. So people tend to think that is modeling. That's them being famous and being paid on the cover of magazine. Back in the day, the models were on the covers of Vogue and things. That's just our industry keeps changing and keeps evolving.
So how has Page Park kept up with the industry and everything's changing? Like you just said, it does going away from magazine, now everything is online. So how has that changed y'all's plan for the future?
Well, I think when we started out, she was, what's going to be our anniversary is in April. So in the past 38 years, she started out as just a modeling agency, and then we transferred into being very well known for acting, and have major people starring in major motion pictures that you go to the movies and see. And I think that the next thing to do is what we're doing with Cameron and Paige in regards to this teen mentorship camp. I think that the industry is changing. I think everything is social media driven, and I think social media being so in our kids' face these days, they really need to understand how to deal with that, not just for now, but for their future, because our clients look at everything. I look at everything. Every model or talent we represent, we look at their social media. If there's something that we don't like, I make them take it down. And they have to be able to know how to navigate, like, oh my gosh, I saw this party and everybody was there, all my friends, but I wasn't invited, or how to just believe in themselves. So I think that's the next wave that we're going to, is where we're gonna try to help them navigate some feelings that we didn't have to deal with.
Definitely, and I heard you speaking about the teen mentorship program again. How did that mentorship program actually come about?
Paige and I went to Tony Robbins, I think like 5 years ago maybe. It was called A Date with Destiny, and we just got invigorated, and that weekend sort of broke you down into like, what are your passions and what are you focused on and how to refocus. And one night you walked on fire, and like real fire. I thought it was a joke at first, but
So everybody had to walk.
Oh, so y'all went to like a real, like one of the retreats or something?
Yes.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
And then I
Walk on
thought,
fire,
if we
guys.
can walk on fire, we can do anything. And
So you done walked on fire.
we walked on fire.
Tabitha Garcia has walked on fire, people.
Right?
I have never,
Yeah. Totally.
I have never walked on
Yeah,
fire.
and then
can
the
do
next day they give you the coals like as a memento, so you can always remember you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying that weekend that we were there, hey, I think we can do this for kids. And then that idea sort of marinated, and it turned into teens, and then sort of what's going on in the world, and that's really how it came about.
So just to be correct, since everybody's listening, are the kids walking on fire at the Teen Mentorship Program?
Not this camp.
No fire, kids.
No fire. But as this grows, we hope it grows into something where it's not just, 20 or 30 kids that we're talking to at a time, but, in the hundreds. So I won't say in the future we might not, but you never know.
Without giving away the whole program, can you tell us about little things that are going to happen during the program during the time?
Yes, so the program actually lasts 4 Saturdays, and it's every other Saturday. And they're going to be in classes with people like Cameron and Paige personally, and they're going to have a class with a yoga teacher and with someone to talk about healthy eating, and they're going to have someone that is a social media director to come in and pull up their social media and what should you do and what should you not do, and how to believe in yourself, and what are some things that are you focused on in your life now, and what you don't want to be focused on, and how to redirect your mind and sort of set your path on what is your intention for the day. It's a big program. A lot of knowledge, a lot of fun though, a lot of dancing.
So can the parents expect to get something out of this as well if they attend? Will the parents be allowed to attend and stay the whole time?
I don't know if y'all are gonna do that.
No. It's strictly for the teens. But I mean, how can you measure the benefit of your teen being happy, or your teen coming home and being, man, I know what I want to do in my life. I know what's next for me. I know how to handle things. So as a parent, there's going to be unmeasurable benefits really from, as parents, you're a parent, we want the best for our kids, right?
Yes.
You always want the best for your kids. So it's really something as a parent that you're going to see that next level for your child, right? And what's possible for them.
I can't wait for my kids to be 12 so they can go.
So what are the age ranges that the program, is it from 12 to 18 or is it 12 to 16?
It's about 12 to 20-ish. It really depends
So
on.
out of high school as well, you can definitely come in.
Yeah, because I think it's important, because a lot of especially high school kids are dealing with things that maybe they don't want to speak with your parents about, but maybe they'll open up to this group, or maybe they'll meet a friend in the group and talk to them about, or have some action items on how to maybe write down their feelings and what they're going through, and that's what they're going to go through over these next 4 Saturdays.
Speaking of high school, we have teen model Madelyn Whitley in the building. She will be also a mentor for the program, am I correct?
Yes, I will be.
So how did that come about?
How did mentoring come about, or how did modeling
How did you
come?
come about becoming a mentor for the program?
Okay. Well, actually, it was Tabitha and Paige that had reached out to me because I've known them for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
And they know me quite well. They know my story, everything about who I am and what I've gone through in my life. And so they kind of thought it would be a great idea for me to come and speak to some of these kids, just because I'd be able to relate. I am their age. I'm
She's
literally
not
their
like us.
yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, I'm literally their I'm their peer, and so I think it would come from a different perspective that they might hear differently or think about differently, which would be a unique perspective to hear about.
Okay, for the people that don't know who you are, can you give them a little bit of your backstory? I know you're going to be talking a lot into mentorship.
No, yeah, it's cool. Okay, I'm Madelyn Whitley. I'm 18. I've lived in Houston, Texas my whole life. I started modeling maybe about 3 years ago, or it's when I first met.
We went to our model camp.
Yes, I went to the model camp, and that's where I first got started. I'm actually transgender, which means I was born a boy, but transitioned into my correct body.
Okay.
So when we met Maddie, she came in, and I think you were having maybe some difficult time at school.
Yeah.
And shared her story with us, and we were like, okay, yeah, that's great. Like, we weren't nervous about it or scared. We just, okay, this is who you are, and let's roll with it. And I think maybe that was refreshing.
Yes, it was so refreshing to see somebody who did, like, they didn't even, like, blink twice about it. And, I mean, growing up in Houston, Texas, obviously I had gotten very mixed reactions, very different reactions, very extreme reactions, but none that were just so unconditionally accepting and loving and like, okay, cool, this is going to be great. Like, this is going to be great. Can't wait to get to know you.
How did you know when that one time that you found the place where you wanted to be? Even though you walked in the page, but what did they say to you that pretty much locked it in for you?
Okay, well, I don't know if I knew right in that moment that was my place, but I think later, like, just as I continued to go there, I just felt this sort of comfort and this sort of just relaxed nature. I mean, it's really unlike anywhere I've ever been. And so I kind of have established, I mean, eventually it just kind of became my place.
And you say you've been modeling for 3 years, correct?
Yeah, like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, so she started her journey with us and booked a couple local jobs, and then she went to one of our events called Agent Review, where I bring in agents and managers from around the world. And last year she got signed with Madelyn in New York, so I placed her with them, and she spent the summer there. And when she turns 18, you are 18, but after you graduate high school, she's gonna move to New York and start a major journey there. And we're excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
How exciting is that to be only doing it for 3 years and already moving so fast? Because this is very fast. There's a lot of people that have been modeling for years and haven't went nowhere.
Well,
That's true.
That's true. I mean, I guess Paige Parks was really, I don't want to be like, but it was Paige Parks who really puts you on the board and just kind of introduces you to it and really makes sure that this is something that you want to do before they really push you out. And so I think they do a really good job preparing me so that when we do start to move fast, we can go faster and faster and faster.
And I think it's important for people to also understand, especially as an actor or even a model or whatever you're doing in our industry, personality is key. So you can be tall and beautiful and skinny all day long, but if you can't sell something, we got a problem.
Definitely.
So Maddie has a great personality, and when I told her, you got to go in and kill the interview, she went and did it, and it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you and Paige said to me right before I went to go speak to Madelyn, which is now my agency, I think they said, you have about a minute to make them fall in love with you and love your look. And I was like, okay, I got this.
No pressure, though. No pressure.
No pressure. That is amazing, though. So the transition has pretty much been a good journey for you.
For me, I like to say it has been the best and worst part of my life all at the same time. Obviously, a majority of it is part of the best moments of my life, just being able to live authentically and just kind of be myself no matter what. That is the most amazing feeling. But I also say it's one of the worst just because there are some people in my life that are no longer in my life because of this. There are some judgments, and I mean, growing up in Houston, Texas, and with our current political climate, you know, some people are a little hesitant to welcome change and welcome something new.
I was going to say a different word, but...
Yeah.
But we always make sure that our company is a safe space for anyone. And I think that's important for especially parents to know, or anybody that's listening that wants to know about who we are. Yes, we're a modeling talent agency, and we have a school that's a major acting program in the city, but we also have different programs that really anybody can go to, and this is just the next level that we're launching.
I heard you mention agent review. Can you tell us about agent review?
Sure. Agent Review is an event that the company puts on every year in May, and this is our 24th year that we're doing this. And instead of making the models go and see all the agencies in New York, for example, if Maddie came and said, hey, I want to be placed in Australia, I'd be like, great, let's book a ticket. You've got to go around and see all the agencies. Now I have a weekend where everybody flies here because our talent is so well known, and everybody sees our talent, and then if they're interested in somebody, they negotiate with me. And that's what happens on that weekend.
So do you officially have to be a member of Page Parks to attend agent review?
Yes, you have to either have been through one of our acting programs, our model camp, or be signed with the agency to attend. So it's not a big convention like there are some in town that anybody can go to, and they think that, you know, my driver's license photo is a photo. That's not the case. We do step by step. We have meetings leading up. Our first meeting is in a couple weeks. So it is a very thought out and well planned event. We have people from all over the world come, from ING to Ford to every name in the industry.
I mean, there was Wilhelmina, there was Maryland, there was Next LA in New York. So many different.
It's a big event.
How can people, if they were interested, how can people be connected with the agency?
Well, if you're interested in being a part of Page Parks, you can go to our website at pageparks.com, and then right when you go on the website, there'll be a flashing thing. Do you want to be a mentor? Do you want to be a model? Do you want to be an actor? And you put your email address in, and that'll trigger, and it'll be sent to one of my talent advisors, and they'll call you, or you can call 713-807-8200. And a live person will answer the phone.
And that's another thing. No computer generated.
No computer.
But that's the team mentorship program. It sounds like a great camp. People are definitely going to get to, I guess, meet everything at self-value, face value, right, and just go through the whole thing. Like, do you, besides, I actually did a little bit of research on you, so this is kind of off topic a little bit, but how is it to actually have a wildlife dolphin safari in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, that
Swimming with the dolphin.
yeah. So again, I guess back in 2010 when I went to my first Tony Robbins program, the Unleash the Power Within, where we did walk across fire, across the hot coals, like 3, 4, 10,000 people. He does it every time. A lot of time we have to wait till we hit a threshold in our life till we make a change. And at the time, I was up in Canada. I had a trucking business. I was had an organic health food store, and I was just really, really unhappy, right? So I hit that threshold that I needed change. So sold everything in Canada and moved to New Zealand. And I mean, that's when the most growth comes, is when you get into something that you don't know anything about. So when I moved to New Zealand, I literally bought a wild dolphin swimming business that I didn't know anything about at the time, and I had to learn about the ocean and how to drive this catamaran that took 50 people out to swim with these wild dolphins. So
Did you love animals before?
absolutely, yeah. I always loved animals.
That's just
Yeah.
something that you're thinking about, like, you know what? I got this. I just got out of this acting camp. I'm finna just go get some wild dolphins.
Yeah. But you know what? Just like at Page Parks, you have to love people, right? Because we're in the tourism business, and the dolphins, I mean, they change a little bit and stuff, but I got so much experience there dealing with people, because you got people from all over the world with different things going on in their life, and if you don't deliver, man, they can be pretty upset, right? Or they can be so grateful at the same time too. So it really gave me a lot of practice just dealing with people, and a lot of times we'd be up in the top driving in from the dolphins doing sort of like therapy sessions. Come sit on my couch, let's talk what's going on, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, to answer your question, it was amazing, but believe it or not, I wasn't fulfilled. You'd think you'd be pretty darn happy, right? With a wild dolphin swimming business, living in New Zealand, right? That seems pretty happy, yeah. But it's a lot of work, you know. It was a lot of running the business, dealing with people. I just wasn't happy. I mean, I'm real passionate about helping teens. That's where my heart is. That's where I get fulfilled, you know. And that's something we're going to talk about at the program too. Is how do you meet your needs, right? Like. When you become that actress, when you become that actor, when you become that model, I mean, we could have a whole show on messed up people that, you know, their life moved really fast and they've got millions of dollars, but they're not fulfilled, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Robin Williams, Whitney, the list goes on of those people that you'd think had it all, right? But really, in their hearts, they weren't fulfilled.
Well, thank you guys again for coming again. We have Miss Tabitha Garcia.
Thank
we have
you.
Cameron Fines and Maddie Whitley in the building. Before y'all leave, can y'all please tell the people where they can reach you at your social media pages and everything?
Yes, the company social media page is Page Parks Corp, and my personal social media page is Tabitha G.
My Instagram is maddie.whitley, or you can just search Madelyn Whitley, and I'll pop up.
For the old people on Facebook, I'm at Your Coach Cam. Okay, and the same on Instagram. If you just look up Your Coach Cam, I'm on Instagram there as well.
Thank you guys. And if, again, you tune in and kicking it with Gene Renegades every Thursday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 92kills.com.
Kick it, yeah.